Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashtaprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 1. The Advent of Lord Krishna, Introduction. Text number 26. Sri Shuka Vacha Iti Adishya Amaraganan Ityadishyamaraгаnan Prajapati Patihi Vibhuho Prajapati Patir Vibhuho Ashvasya Cha Mahim Girbhihi Ashvasya Cha Mahim Girbhihi Swadhama Paramam Yayau Swadhama Paramam Yayau Sri Shuka Vacha Ityadishyamaraгаnan Prajapati Patir Vibhuho Ashvasya Cha Mahim Girbhihi Swadhama Paramam Yayau. Sri Shuka Vacha Ityadishyamaraгаnan Prajapati Patir Vibhuho Ashvasya Cha Mahim Girbhihi Ashvasya Cha Mahim Girbhihi Swadhama Paramam Yayau. Sri Shuka Vacha Ityadishyamaraгаnan Prajapati Patir Vibhuho Ashvasya Cha Mahim Girbhihi Swadhama Paramam Yayau. Sri Shuka Vacha Ityadishyamaraгаnan Prajapati Patir Vibhuho Ashvasya Cha Mahim Girbhihi Swadhama Paramam Yayau. Sri Shuka Vacha. Sri Shukadev Goswami said, Iti, thus, Adishya, after informing Amaraganan, all the demigods, Prajapati Patihi, Lord Brahma, the master of the Prajapatis, Vibhuhu, all powerful, Ashvasya, after pacifying, Cha, also, Mahim, Mother Earth, Girbhihi, by sweet words, Swadhama, his own planet, known as Brahmaloka, Paramam, the best within the universe, Yayau, returned. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Shukadev Goswami continued, after thus advising the demigods and pacifying Mother Earth, The very powerful Lord Brahma, who is the master of all other Prajapatis and is therefore known as Prajapati Pati, returned to his own abode, Brahmaloka. Please repeat this translation after me. Shukadeva Goswami continued, after thus advising the demigods and pacifying Mother Earth, the very powerful Lord Brahma, who is the master of all other Prajapatis and is therefore known as Prajapati Pati, returned to his own abode Brahmaloka. I'll read the next two verses by myself. Text 27. Shuraseno yadupatir mathuram avasan purim mathuran shurasenamscha vishayan bubuje pura. Translation. Formerly, Shurasena, the chief of the Yadu dynasty, had gone to live in the city of Mathura. There he enjoyed the places known as Mathura and Shurasena. Text 28. Rajadhani tatah sabhut sarvayadava bhubhujam Mathura Bhagavan yatra nityam sannihito harihi. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The translation: since that time, the city of Mathura had been the capital of all the kings of the Yadu dynasty. The city and district of Mathura are very intimately connected with Krishna, for Lord Krishna lives there eternally. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. It is understood that Mathura city is the transcendental abode of Lord Krishna. It is not an ordinary material city, for it is eternally connected with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vrindavan is within the jurisdiction of Mathura, and it still continues to exist. Because Mathura and Vrindavan are intimately connected with Krishna eternally, it is said that Lord Krishna never leaves Vrindavan. Vrindavanam parityajya padam ekam nagachati. At present, the place known as Vrindavan in the district of Mathura continues its position as a transcendental place, and certainly anyone who goes there becomes transcendentally purified. Navadvip Dham is also intimately connected with Vraja Bhumi. Srila Narottam Das Thakur therefore says, Sri Gauda Mandala Bhumi Jeba Jane Chintamani Tar Hoy Vraja Bhume Pas. Vraja Bhumi refers to Mathura Vrindavan, and Gauda Mandala Bhumi includes Navadvip. These two places are not different. Therefore, anyone living in Navadvip Dham, knowing Krishna and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to be the same personality, lives in Vraja Bhumi, Mathura Vrindavan. The Lord has made it convenient for the conditioned soul to live in Mathura, Vrindavan, Navadvip, and thus be directly connected with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Simply by living in these places, one can immediately come in contact with the Lord. There are many devotees who vow never to leave Vrindavan and Mathura. This is undoubtedly a good vow. But if one leaves Vrindavan, Mathura or Navadvip Dham for the service of the Lord, he is not disconnected from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. At any rate, we must understand the transcendental importance of Mathura, Vrindavan and Navadvip Dham. Anyone who executes devotional service in these places certainly goes back home, back to Godhead, after giving up his body. Thus the words Mathura Bhagavan Yatra Nityam Sannihito Harihi are particularly important. A devotee should fully utilize this instruction to the best of his ability. Whenever the Supreme Lord personally appears, he appears in Mathura, because of his intimate connection with this place. Therefore, although Mathura and Vrindavan are situated on this planet Earth, they are transcendental abodes of the Lord. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimmirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So the narration continues by Shukadev Goswami. He is answering Parikshit's questions. Parikshit has asked, please describe in detail about Lord Krishna. And in this chapter, Shukadev Goswami gives the introduction, the background for Krishna's descent, avatar. Lord Brahma, along with other demigods, and Lord Shiva and Mother Earth, had gone to Shvetadvipa. That's a planet within this universe where Lord Vishnu, who is the maintainer, resides there. So Brahma called for a meeting with Vishnu. And it's interesting to note, they decided to go and meet Vishnu. They all went. Nobody ever thinks, how did they go? Do you ever think? You hear this, no? They went there. How did they go? So, demigods are very, 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 very powerful personalities. They're not ordinary personalities. You should always remember this. You should not forget. They travel not by mechanical means. They travel by yogic power, yoga siddhi. Depending on the status of the particular demigod, they have different kinds of siddhis. Like Brahma has got his swan carrier. That swan is no ordinary swan. Swans can fly, but limited distance. On this earth, whatever swans we have, they can fly some small distance. But Brahma's swan is having the power to take Brahma anywhere within the whole universe. And this universe is no small place. There are millions of planets. Brahma can go from one planet to another planet just according to his will. Similarly, the other devatas also, they also have their carriers or they have their powers. The inhabitants of Siddhaloka, they don't even require any kind of vehicle or any kind of carrier. They don't require. Simply, they decide, now I am on the earth planet, let me go to Indraloka. Next moment, they are there in Indraloka. So, the demigods are very, very powerful. We should not forget this point. And even they are sometimes in difficulty, in spite of all their power. Now, the difficulty of the demigods is not always personal difficulty. Like Mother Earth, she is not having any personal problem. What is her problem? Why she has gone to complain to Brahma? She is feeling for the other living beings on this earth who are exploited by the demoniac kings. So, she is feeling for the other suffering souls. That is her uh, problem. So, this indicates the devatas, they are very, very responsible personalities. They supply the different necessities of all the living beings in the whole universe. Different people have different needs. They supply everyone's needs. But they also are concerned about the welfare. It is not that they supply and their duty is over, then they don't bother whether somebody is able to live nicely or not able to live nicely. It's not like that. So therefore, elsewhere it is described in the Bhagavatam, all the demigods are devotees of Vishnu. Vishnu bhaktas bhuto daiva. Asuras tad viparyayaha. The asuras, they are non-devotees of Vishnu. They are not devotees of Vishnu. So two classes of personalities in this creation. Daiva and Asura. And this Daiva category, they are devatas, known as devatas. All of them are very powerful. Of course, there are different degrees of power they hold. But they are powerful enough to regulate the supply of the necessities of the other living beings. And they are also concerned with the welfare of those whom they are supplying the needs. This is a very important thing. The responsibility of ruling also includes the responsibility of ensuring the welfare. Ensuring the welfare. So, in that sense, the devatas are all worshipable. Devatas are worshipable because they are compassionate upon the suffering souls and they are concerned with the welfare of the suffering souls. They do supply all the necessities of all the living beings, but they are bound by the laws of karma. They are not independent of the laws of karma. Now, not only the demigods, but there are so many other people who are also concerned with the welfare of fellow human beings or fellow creatures. But the others, they are not necessarily empowered to do welfare activity. They are not empowered to do welfare activity. So, if they show compassion, many times they are unable to do some welfare work because they may be lacking some resources or power or whatever. Now, there is a third category of personalities who are concerned with the welfare. They are the pure devotees of the Supreme Lord, like Prabhupada. Prabhupada is sitting in Vrindavan and thinking about the order of his guru to go and preach in the English speaking countries, in the Western countries. And also, he is thinking about the suffering of the conditioned souls. So, his concern for the suffering of the conditioned souls is actually something which he is sharing with the Supreme Lord himself, with Krishna himself. It is because Krishna feels for the suffering of the conditioned souls in this material world. That is the reason pure devotees like Prabhupada, Acharyas, they also feel for the suffering of the conditioned souls. They're not independently thinking like that. They're always connected with Krishna and they are constantly working for Krishna's mission to relieve the suffering of the conditioned souls in this material world. And Krishna is always engaged in different ways to help the conditioned souls become free from all miseries. So that is one of Krishna's most important activities in this material world. Of course, Krishna, in his form as Kshirodakashayi Vishnu, is the maintainer of all the living entities in this material world. But not just maintenance, but welfare. And welfare, particularly to relieve the suffering. And what kind of relief does Vishnu or Krishna want to give to the conditioned souls? A total relief, complete relief, permanent relief. And therefore, the real mission of the actual mission of the Supreme Lord and his pure devotees, acharyas like Prabhupada, is to deliver the conditioned souls from this material world to the spiritual world, the personal abode of Krishna. So therefore, in order to ensure this deliverance, Krishna has got so many different programs how to deliver the conditioned souls. Now, if you study the scriptures, you will see virtually there are unlimited number of ways in which Krishna has made arrangement for deliverance of the conditioned soul. That is what is glorified in all the devotional literature. What for this devotional literature is prepared by the devotees, the acharyas. It is simply to carry out the mission of the Supreme Lord to deliver the conditioned souls to the spiritual world where they belong. So in the scriptures, it is said, just like that is particularly mentioned here, that the city and district of Mathura are very intimately connected with Krishna, for Krishna lives there eternally. Mathura Bhagavan Yatra Nityam Sannihito Harihi. Krishna eternally resides in Mathura. So, even though Mathura, we can all visit Mathura or Vrindavan, the jurisdiction of Mathura, Mathura Mandala. Even though it appears as a part of this earth planet, and this earth planet is subject to destruction. Everything material, every place is subject to destruction. But Mathura, the holy place, Vrindavan, the holy place, is never destroyed. It is never destroyed. It is always Mathura is never destroyed. So, what happens when the earth planet is destroyed? That's why Mathura or any holy place, it is not on the material plane. It is not on the material plane. It is on the spiritual plane. It is just like we as spirit soul. When death happens to this body, na hanyate hanyamane sharire, we are not destroyed. Exactly like we are not destroyed, even the holy places are not destroyed. Holy places are not destroyed. So, these holy places, that's why it's called Dhama. Mathura Dham, Vrindavan Dham. Dhama means the holy place which is eternally existing. Because in this Mathura, Lord Krishna lives in Mathura eternally. So how can he live eternally if the place itself is temporary? It's not a temporary place. It's an eternal place. So it exists on the spiritual plane. That spiritual platform is called Brahman platform. That is described in the Bhagavad Gita. Brahma bhuta prasannatma na shochati na kankshati samas sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labate para. Mam chayo avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatityetan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Right now, our ordinary existence, material existence, is on the platform of the three gunas. It's called Jiva Bhuta existence. Jiva Bhuta. And above this platform of the three gunas, Jiva Bhuta existence, is Brahma Bhuta existence. Spiritual platform. Brahman platform. On the Brahman platform, there is no destruction, there is no need for any maintenance, there is no material miseries, there are no material dangers. It is the spiritual world. So, in this material world, there is a spiritual world also. That is Mathura Dham, Vrindavan Dham. And those who practice devotional service, Mam chayo avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatityetan. They are able to transcend the three gunas, elevate their consciousness to the spiritual platform. And on the spiritual platform, what is the activity on the spiritual platform? Mad bhaktim labhate param. There is only activity of devotional service to Krishna. Mad bhakti. Mad bhaktim labate param. It is completely transcendental. Param means transcendental. Savai pumsam paro dharma. This word para is used to indicate transcendental platform, transcendental activity, transcendental existence, transcendental abode, everything spiritual. Param. Mad bhaktim labate param. So, devotional service is the activity on the spiritual platform. There is no material activity on the spiritual platform. There's no material activity. There's no material existence on the spiritual platform. So, Mathura, Prabhupada says in the purport, anyone who lives in these places can immediately come in contact with the Supreme Lord who eternally resides in these places. Krishna. Simply by living in Mathura or Vrindavan, one immediately is able to contact Krishna. And what happens if somebody contacts Krishna? Immediately they are purified, liberated, elevated to the spiritual platform. Contact with Krishna means immediately purified, elevated, delivered, liberated, immediately. So, Prabhupada says, therefore, anyone who executes devotional service in these places certainly goes back home, back to Godhead after giving up this body. So, Prabhupada says there are devotees who are serious about going back to Godhead. What do? They reside in one of the holy dhams like Mathura or Vrindavan. And they take a vow never to leave Vrindavan, never to leave Mathura dham. That means even if there are some inconveniences, such devotees don't leave Mathura, Vrindavan. They don't leave and go. And what is the business? What is their business? What do they do there? They are executing devotional service. Executing devotional service in the dham is many millions of times more effective than executing devotional service in ordinary places. Millions of times more. But Prabhupada says there are pure devotees like Prabhupada himself. He was living in Vrindavan, but he left Vrindavan and traveled to America and later traveled all over the world. But such leaving Vrindavan was for the purpose of Krishna's preaching mission. So even if Prabhupada leaves Vrindavan, goes to America, still he is not disconnected from Krishna. Living in Vrindavan, one is having direct contact with Krishna. But Prabhupada, even though he may live anywhere, but because he is traveling or living outside of Vrindavan for the sake of Krishna's mission, he is always directly in contact with Krishna. So even if we are not able to live in Vrindavan, if we are executing devotional service under the guidance of Prabhupada, pure devotee, wherever we live, we are directly in contact with Krishna. The place where we live becomes a holy place. This is very important to understand. One may not be able to go to Mathura or Vrindavan and live there. But even if somebody lives outside of these places, some other ordinary place, but by following the directions of Srila Prabhupada and executing devotional service according to his directions, one is living in a holy place. Directly one is in contact with Krishna. So Prabhupada explains in second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, purport to last verse of second chapter, 72nd verse. He says, there is no difference between the kingdom of God and the devotional service of the Supreme Lord. So, to be engaged in devotional service of the Supreme Lord means to live in the kingdom of God. You must always remember this. 2.72 purport, Prabhupada says this. There's no difference. Which means that simply by executing devotional service wherever you are, you simply by executing devotional service, you are living in kingdom of God. You are not living in material world. Therefore, for devotees who are engaged in devotional service under the guidance, strictly according to the directions of the bona fide spiritual master, Prabhupada, for them there is no material existence. There is no material existence. There is only spiritual existence. So for them, there is no need to think, oh, I have to go back to Godhead. No. They are already living in the kingdom of God. So the only prayer is always, Krishna, let me be always engaged in your service wherever I am, in whatever condition I may be living in this world. Because in the material world, there are different conditions of life, different places. So many externally, so many changes keep happening in the climate, in the weather. Sometimes there are calamities, sometimes there is destruction, sometimes there is some nice atmosphere, good weather, sometimes there is peace, sometimes there is war, sometimes there is some epidemic. Whatever be the condition, within the core of the heart, within the consciousness, our business is to engage in devotional service. Particularly engage in chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And in this way, always reside in the kingdom of God and be protected against all dangers of this material world. I'll stop here. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.